On a recent podcast interview alongside her fiance, Benny Blanco, Selena Gomez opened up about just how hard it is to be a billionaire getting cyberbullied for your looks online. I mean, I just can't. I can't do it. I'm sure that Selena knows people aren't listening to her when she complains about this stuff because she's a billionaire. Mm-hmm. I am not even demonizing her for being a billionaire. I'm just saying, you know, as a billionaire, shouldn't you have more impressive problems? Shouldn't you have more formidable enemies than Joe Schmo 32?
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo on Twitter calling you fat?
They also pointed out how, like, just a month ago she was complaining about immigration. Now she just completely forgot immigration was a thing.
Yeah, she is quite embarrassing on social media herself. If you don't remember, she was actually in tears sobbing about the fact that her people, referring to Mexicans, I guess, are going to be carted away and deported out of the country by Trump. And she got flamed for that, as she deserved to be.
She strikes me as somebody with low emotional regulation.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Which is honestly true of a lot of the most vocal celebrities online. What you tend to get from them is like, and I get it in a way. It kind of takes practice to, especially if you're the type of person who doesn't care about the response. Like if you don't care whether you get good feedback or bad feedback, when something in the news shows up that really, really makes you emotional, you just have to make your opinion heard no matter what. And you don't care what people say to the contrary, because the response itself is its own reward, whether it's good or bad. And you can make the argument that like the average everyday person, for instance, who works a regular 9-to-5 job, they have no special standing in society, but they care about other people. They look at something like what they perceive to be the wrongs of immigration reform, and they lash out online and they cry because they don't know what they can do about it. But when you're like a billionaire with assets and infrastructure and contacts, and your response is to do the same thing, that doesn't like say to me that she's necessarily all that caring. It tells me that she's emotionally dysregulated. Yeah. And that's also its own thing.
Trying to siphon clout off of her Hispanic last name because it's trendy to do so.
That's even a step farther than I would. That's even a step farther than like, I don't know if it's a conscious thing. That's way worse.
My people though, really?
Meaning really? Southern Californians.
Like you were born here.
Yeah.
Everyone who looks at you sees you as a white person.
I wonder if she got one of those Gulf of Mexico shirts yet.
I bet. Yeah. Haley Williams needs to hook her up with the link. But yeah, key takeaway for Selena through all of this experience of getting cyberbullied is that women have it worse. She says women get the short end of the stick when it comes to social media attacks. And here was her full quote from her interview with Jay Shetty on his podcast. I was also going to point out that women have it much worse. From my perspective, it's pretty wild, and I think this isn't news to anybody, that obviously women have a lot more intense feelings from their appearance to what they're wearing to everything. She explained that her online perception affects how she prepares for red carpets. She says, when I get prepared for an event, 90% of the time, I'm just like, I hope I can take the picture and sit down. It's the character that gets judged. It's the way I'm not white enough. I'm not Mexican enough. There's just so many different things that come up in my face that I can't help but see, but I fall victim to looking at things, and it really doesn't add to your life. It's just so difficult from the choices of people you date. It's like nobody cares about those kinds of things with men. Gomez recently said everyone online had something to say about her weight. She says, my weight's a big one too. It's really making me sad, and not even sad, because I'm not a victim. I just think it's made me a tad bitter, and I feel really guilty for saying that, but it's true. I literally have seen in the past week both Leonardo DiCaprio getting body shamed for being a fat tub of lard and also having his dating preferences scrutinized just within the span of like hours. I'm not even saying that's wrong. I think we should be making fun of Leonardo DiCaprio just as much as we're making fun of Selena Gomez, just as much as we're making fun of anyone.
They did this to Brendan Fraser when he put on a bunch of weight after he kind of fell from grace before the Brendissance. I don't know if they called it the Fraser-sance when he kind of rebounded with the whale, ironically enough. You know, I will say that I actually think she's probably right, but I say so in the sense that the value of the female body is more highly sought after. Therefore, it's more highly scrutinized. There's more to be gained from being an impressively beautiful woman. For men now, you look at the average Hollywood actor and they've got 6-pack abs. Like, I actually feel bad for a lot of them where it's like a dude, he's playing like a file clerk and he's got to have like washboard abs because that's just what they're expected to look like.
I don't feel bad for them, honestly.
I feel bad. I'm being a bit hyperbolic. But what I'm saying is that when the men do it, most of the time, I imagine that they're taking the advice of what Tom Cruise used to say, which is like, your profession is front facing. Your body is part of your meal ticket. Taking care of what you look like will help you not just get roles, but feel better about yourself. And it feels like maybe this is where some of the fitness influencers outside of the ones, you know, like mainlining the TRT and the steroids, where they get it right, which is like, part of looking good is that it helps you feel good because it enhances your self-esteem. But if you start from the perspective of, I have to look this way because of my job, sometimes there might be a lack of gratitude there because you are going to get judged either way. And as a woman, you will be judged more harshly.
I have 20 to read before I respond to that. From Battle Axe of God. Christ is king. Pray for the wicked to find salvation. Shame the fatties. Well, that third statement was kind of apropos of nothing, but agreed. And to what you said, I don't want to seem obtuse. I know for a fact that women do receive more scrutiny on their appearances. And it's not that it's fair or unfair. It's just the fact that women are different, or women and men are different, rather. And therefore, the scrutiny they receive is going to appear differently.
And the things that men are scrutinized for are different.
Yes.
Like their dating preferences.
It would be anyone on the celebrity level of Selena Gomez or Leonardo DiCaprio. I am just trying to point out that scrutiny of appearance happens to both sides, not at the same rate, of course, but it does happen to both sides. And a lot of this, of what Selena Gomez is talking about, is self-inflicted. Admittedly, she said, I am looking at things. I can't stop myself from looking at these things. I'm making myself turn into a more bitter person by scrolling through mean comments about myself. And that's kind of surprising for her to admit on a public platform because it encourages more of the trolling responses to tell them that what they're doing is working.
Yep.
That's like 101 of being a public figure or just using the internet in general. And it also seems like she is trying to appear unbothered about it in other scenarios. Thank you. Including in this selfie. Pull up that selfie that I sent you. She posted this picture of herself yesterday, and she's wearing a shirt. She's wearing this shirt that says, all the girls at this party are younger and hotter than me. Why would you wear this shirt? What is wrong with you? Why would you wear that? Either as a joke or not a joke. Why would you wear that?
Or if it is a joke, you better have a thicker skin than you've clearly discussed.
Yeah, I would never wear a shirt that said that as a joke or not.
Yeah.
That is so embarrassing.
Self-deprecating?
It's like self-deprecating, but also trying to make people think like you don't care. Which is clearly not true, even by her own admission.
I mean, this is kind of the case du jour with a lot of it, especially for TikTok culture or Instagram culture, which is like, the haters said this, but I don't care. I'm like, well, you do care because you made a video talking about your haters, so you care enough. It's like when people leave comments on our videos and they say, who cares about this person? I'm like, well, you cared about this person because you clicked on the video to type it. So you may not look into the details about it, but you cared enough to comment. So it reeks of confliction.
Yeah, I think that given Selena Gomez's behavior with social media in the past and her terrible track record with taking social media breaks that last like 5 hours at a time,
Emotional dysregulation.
Yeah, Benny Blanco just needs to confiscate her phone indefinitely, and we'll see how she fares without it.
Yeah, some people.
That's my prescription.
Some people just can't handle it. I feel look, the other thing is, like, for guys, like, there's probably plenty of guys, and I understand, like, where you're self-conscious about the way you look, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be scrutinized the same way. But sometimes the prison of your own mind is worse than any prison that the world can create for you. So you hear the stories about people who are extremely body dysmorphic, who look perfectly normal, but in their mind, they're 500 pounds. And stuff like that, and that can happen to both genders, but that does not mean that it wouldn't, like, disproportionately affect the women more, given the, you know, first of all, how women are wired to look at themselves anyways, and the way that social media exacerbates that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.